Okay, welcome. Today is our fall marketing workshop. And so the plan is for this to be very hands-on. We have a workbook for you to use as we go. And the presentation that we have is very much going to be conversational so that we can come up with new ideas and inspiration and make it easy for you to craft a plan that's going to work for you. So we do have it scheduled for 90 minutes. We'll see if it runs that long. So here's our quick agenda. I want to share our Fanfare Tuftex challenge. And then we will walk through like who we're marketing to, what we're marketing, how we're going to do it, and what assets we're going to do to attract these buyers. And then we'll open it up for questions at the end, which is Ask Alyssa and Alexis, which is mostly Ask Alyssa because Alyssa's one of the brains here. I always have an opinion on things, so I'm happy to weigh in too. So before I jump into our slides, let me pop in the chat our workbook. So you have two versions. We have the Google Doc, which you can just make a copy of and type on there, or a prettier version that you can print out and write on, whatever you want to do. But here in the chat, I'm putting both versions. And while you're getting that document, I will clue you in on the Design Studio Challenge. So I'm so thrilled to be partnering with Tuftex. I love that brand. I use that brand myself. Obviously, we know that it's made in the US, it's family run, they're high quality, they're great for outdoors, their colors are gorgeous. And so being able to partner with them is really a treat for us. So part of this challenge is to get users building out their design catalog. This is supposed to be motivating. This is supposed to be inspiring. We will each week within our weekly Tuesday meetings, we'll just like do a brief kickoff where we'll have some ideas for you to put into your catalog. So this could be seasonal things. This could be things by section. So like your backdrops, your props, your different ways to style balloons, different ways to play with pattern and color. And so this is just to give you ideas and to give you a little motivation to go create design sets so that you have tons of things to work with. And whenever your client says something, you're like, I've already got that ready. I'm just going to like send it via collaboration mode, or I published this to my store. This is going to be a knockout. People are going to love that. It's just to make it easy for you to just run your business in a very simple hands-off way throughout the year. Okay, so what is the actually entailed? So if you're a Fanfare platform user or you're a Design Studio user, you already have access to the Design Studio. This is meant to help you. We also will allow people who are trial users to be in the competition. We are only offering this in the US and Canada right now, and we'll do a separate thing for the UK. And so how to play, it's really simple. Every week, just spend a little bit of time building your catalog. So the goal is to have 4 design sets per week. You can knock those out all at once. You can build them slowly. You can build them as you get inspired, as clients come to you, whatever makes sense. But build out 4 design sets per week, and that's 16 sets in a month. That's very, very doable, very attainable. And then each week in the Fanfare community, share a picture of your favorite design. This is a great way for people to see what other people are doing, what they're actually selling, inspire new ideas, and be very collaborative in our community because we want to help each other. And then at the end of completing all 4 weeks, you earn a raffle ticket for the month that you're in. So for this first month, September, if you do that all 4 weeks, you will be entered into the raffle drawing for September. And if you do this for the next 12 weeks, so September 1st through the end of November, you'll have 3 raffle tickets in for the grand prize as well. And so that's easy. You're going to build the sets by month. You post it to the community, you win raffle tickets. Easy, right? Same for the grand prize. You build the sets, you post each week, you get the 3 extra tickets for the grand prize. So now we have options for bonus raffle tickets. So if you create a design and you share it with a mock-up and a reality and you tag Fanfare, you get a bonus ticket into that month. But we made it really sweet with a nice cherry on top if you do it in all Tuftex. And so other reasons you might want to do with Tuftex. One, we love their products, but two, they have a huge following and your brand's going to get more visibility. And so through posting and us reposting, we're hoping that we can get other people, other artists, other, consumers seeing, liking, and commenting on your social media to help you grow as well. Okay, so now for the prizes. So each month, Tuftex is curating a color box. And so this will be a mix of a specific set of colors that are from 5 inches all the way up to 36 inches. And each of them are themed. Oh, I have it written there twice, fall color box. So one is fall favorites. One is a holiday mix. And then the other one is the fan favorite color box. So fall, holiday, and then everyone's favorite colors. And then you'll also receive a spotlight. If you win the drawing, you'll receive a spotlight on Fanfaire's social media outlets. And then for the grand prize, so hopefully people are going to be very incentivized. This is the biggest box. This is the biggest, baddest box yet of all the Tuftex, not all the colors, but curated mix of colors from Tuftex in all the sizes. And you'll also receive a one-on-one coaching session with Alyssa. And so Alyssa is obviously very good at her own business, but as a coach, she's also been incredibly impactful. She can decide if she wants to share who the client that I'm talking about, but this one client has been in business for a long time. She works really hard and she felt like there was more that she could do. And so just through coaching with Alyssa, she took her business from like a few thousand a month to doing 10,000 a month over month. And so if you want to have like real results, I absolutely recommend coaching with Alyssa. She can tap into what your strengths are, how to position things differently with your clients, what things you need to remove from your business, clutter. She has a really good eye for understanding like what's working and what's not, and hone in on that for you and just motivate you to do better in your own business. So I'm really thrilled for somebody to get that coaching session. And then lastly, you also receive a spotlight with Fanfare. Okay. Quick on the dates. We're officially kicking off on September 1st. We'll do a kickoff call, and then all of the drawings, I'm not sure if they're going to be live or on Instagram Live with Tuftex or not yet, but we will announce those drawings on each of these dates here. And now we'll roll into the marketing part. So here we go. Any questions on the challenge? Okay. All right. Did you guys have a chance to get access to the workbook? Okay, so we'll make this very conversational. Hi, Dominique. Thanks for joining. I don't know if you guys know, but Dominique has a ridiculous winning streak when it comes to raffles. So you are not to scare you away, but there definitely is some fierce competition when it comes to luck because Dominique has it all. And I believe she's going to be in the design challenge. So look out. In the chat, I have a PDF version of the workbook as well as a Google Doc. Welcome, Katie. So if you guys want to just make a copy of that and you can write notes as you go, this is meant to be a working session, collaborative, inspirational with ideas. And so I hope that you walk away with a real marketing plan. Okay, you guys ready?
Okay, I need a second because I need to remember how to. Hi, everybody. How are you? Are you going to just flip the pages so that I don't have to present? Because I was like, I can't present. That's probably why.
Oh,
Does that work?
you want to present?
No, we're good. I could never, it always takes me a minute. So we're good if you do it. I don't need to.
Yeah, I'll just flip the pages. We'll talk through it. So yeah, I mean,
So the first thing that we wanted to do was just kind of give you an outline of the types of events that are going on in every month. And some of these do continue for a few months in a row. Just so that you know, like, what kind of things to look out for around you, what kind of events can you target, so that way you're going to be able to effectively use your marketing. Who here, just give me a little hand raise if you've done some fall marketing already. So has anyone started doing that? So no. Okay, so I know that with August, typically for marketing, I do like to start at least 4 to 6 weeks out. We did begin booking Christmas in July. So just in terms of what to be looking for, we already have some repeat business that's coming around. I think that we tend to book that a little bit early just because we fill up and our clients know that we fill up. So they always try to book us immediately so that we're not there. But we did put in some other things that we do pretty regularly. Who here starts school in August?
We do.
Yeah.
Next
And does
week.
anybody start in September? So yeah, because depending upon where you're located, our schools, the first day for a lot of them is actually this week, Wednesday. And I know that my nieces and nephews are in Atlanta and they started school 2 weeks ago. So they're at the first week of August. So some of these timelines might be a little bit off, but we're still in a good place to catch a lot of the school events. So, and I know that we have a Canadian in here, so this one isn't going to apply to you, but for Labor Day. So I find that around Labor Day, a lot of towns have city celebrations. Some things that we've done for that are floats for some local businesses. So if you know any of your businesses that you work with regularly that need maybe some float help, we do a lot of 4th of July and Labor Day floats. And then sometimes we also create backdrops for the towns. The ones that we create the backdrops for tend to be people who are putting on more of a festival in relation to the Labor Day. Like they might be having a arts and craft festival, or they're having some characters come, or they have face painting and balloon twisting or some bands. So those types of events, they occasionally are going for either an art or else a photo backdrop. This is also a really good time of year when I find that fundraising walks and community runs are starting to take off pretty full force. We do a lot of fundraising walks and community runs both in September and October, and that could look like Breast Cancer Awareness Month, if you're working with any events like that. We have autism walks, we have school walks, we have just a lot of, there's suicide awareness walks, there's domestic violence walks. Those are all going on in our community. And I could just look at what's going on in our community and a lot of times contact them. Some things that we put out for that are arches at the beginning and the end of it. And then also like the little poles, columns, any type of branding for their event. For back to school events, those could be either community events such as backpacks. Like, do you guys have a lot of people who are doing free lunch and backpack giveaways and school supply giveaways? We just had one last weekend where we did a few bouquets and, one of those giant linky guys to attract them from the road. I know you all know what I'm doing when I do that, like an idiot, but.
Can you do it again though? Because I just want to make sure I got that.
Right, I know. I'm so good. I look just like him. And then just some big bouquets for it. And then also, yeah, go ahead.
A lot of fundraising at the beginning of the year. There's like a
Do they?
hard press
Yeah.
for, like everyone joining the PTA, and then there's like pretty. I want to say it's October is like the biggest 2 fundraisers of the year, where there's
Yeah.
a parents' night out, and then another, like, they could call it race to the finish, where they get all of the families to raise the money through their families. So it's like a donation online. But then if they reach the goal, there's a celebration at the school for the kids. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
those are 2 things that I don't know that our schools do, but
Yeah, and we hit that too. We have a lot of the galas and the fundraising and those types of events in October as well. But we do back to school, and a lot of them have like a welcome night at the school within that first 2 weeks, where again, they just bring people to the school, and they sometimes, like, we have a arch on the 20th that's going up in front of one of the schools. We also have another back to school event where they're welcoming people back, where we're doing some columns for it. So these events don't tend to be really, really big per se in terms of like a big ticket item for one, but it's kind of like bread and butter, where you're just consistently busy putting out a lot of things where it's like 2 columns here, 2 columns there, 10 bouquets here. And that just all starts to add up, and it's really good, consistent weekday business. And then we have our homecomings in September. I know a lot of people have those in October, but as soon as they go back to school, they really are deciding upon what they want to do for the decor and putting that together. And I personally do a lot of private parties, like people, just like the prom send-offs here, people do a lot of yard parties where they take photos before they go back. So since we have homecoming in September, we tend to have our Spirit Week in September, but I know a lot of people are going to fall into October for this. Oktoberfest is a really great event that does happen in September, normally the last 2 weeks of September. So it's a good time to push for that if your community is having it. And that would be like a really good design for it would be, you know, like the giant bear mug or the big pretzel. And I feel like if you could show them something like that, that's a little bit different, then they're going to be more likely to book for that because it's just really cool. Pumpkin patches and harvest parties. I personally haven't done anything like either of those. Have you, Alexis?
No, I was thinking about that. Like, are the pumpkins the decor? Because they have like those hay bales and stuff. Like, would they actually want to put balloons out? I don't know. You know, like you have to
Yeah,
watch them. They're all outside, right? I guess
yeah.
like pumpkin patches are outside. Like you're not, it's not cold enough or like snow or anything where you are to be not outside, right?
No, and we do have a school who does like an annual hayride, and we do provide things for their annual hayride. We provide a photo op, and then we also do glitter tattoos at it. So that's a really nice add-on for some of those school events, or same with balloon twisting if anybody wants to package that together. Like fall is really good for us for booking some additional services too. And sometimes that does end up being a lead-in for decor if anybody does have those skills. We bring in more business with our decor business, but we have hung on to onto the services because for us, that's a really good way for us to make the connections. For corporate events,
Sorry.
we do a ton of fall corporate events. They're getting back into it. We're finishing up company picnics. Those do start for us in like end of July, but August and September are really big for outdoor company picnics. They also do a lot of morale boosters where people are coming back to the office from their vacations. And so they just want to have like nice decor up to welcome them back and kind of get them like, you know, back in the mood of working again instead of taking off every Friday. And then we also find that we're having a lot of leadership events. In September, and then we sometimes do those in November too. I think that since the full staff is coming back, and a lot of them do like a retreat in September or October where they're getting everybody together and just, you know, and it's usually themed. So that's something fun. Like we'll do tie-dye theme or, you know, flowers or disco or just something really fun. It's
Yeah,
also, go ahead.
even just like client events, like sales events, client events, like insurance companies will do a lot of events because like the kids are back in school, so they know that the parents are a little bit more like available. So yeah, any kind of like client entertaining event, they try to like, people are more willing to go to events like September, October, I feel like. So those
Yeah.
events tend to be kind of bigger.
Yeah. We do have, I didn't put on there, but customer appreciation too. Those also start at the end of July for us and go into August and September. But I feel like it's just the time of year, like that August, September, October. It's company picnics, client appreciation. And they're always just looking to do something nice so that they feel valued. One of the places where I find a lot of those are with real estate agencies.
Okay.
We have some by us. They do like huge picnic and they put that together every year. And then they also, some of them do a Christmas party too. So between the two of them, it like gives us a good amount of business. And same thing like credit unions, banks, they're also reaching out to all of their customers and doing those types of events this time of year as well. Same with, I would reach out to, I know part of this is later on. We'll talk more about that when we get to the who, but some of them also be like health centers, like your community health centers as well, end up being people who are putting on those corporate events such as the customer appreciation and even the backpack giveaways this time of year. Sometimes they run that with low cost immunizations or health fairs where they'll give people immunizations, a backpack, and they get like a physical either at a low cost or no cost to them. So those are good events that they usually put some money into so that they could attract people. We do a lot of tent decor for those.
Blood drives. Like, I feel like I keep seeing signs for blood drives.
Do you? We don't have any blood drives around here. But
Oh.
maybe I just don't see them because I can't give blood.
Maybe I
So
see them because I have O type blood. They want that blood.
they're like, we need Alexa's hair. Get this in front
Yeah.
of her face.
Yeah, it's in my face. Yeah, because then it's like they're trying to get as many people in, so like, a little bit more attractive to attract the
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. And then it is National Hispanic Heritage Month as well. That goes from like the half month to the half month. It isn't the full month, which is kind of interesting. But we've done things for that for like two of our clients for that are just corporate clients who are just, trying to help people feel welcome in their environments. Then we also have a lot of milestone birthdays that tend to go into the fall leaning themes. For gender reveals and baby showers, I'm starting to get a lot of a little boo is on the way for the baby showers and the gender reveals. And those are just so fun, especially since like a pastel Halloween is really trending. We quoted 2 of those this week for the end of October. And then I also feel like it's grand opening and ribbon cutting season where a lot of businesses are opening this time of year. We just dropped off some for like a Buena Beef and Rainbow Cone this morning. So, okay.
Yeah, I feel like baby showers are, year round, but even people will like push their milestone birthday to the fall because like I knew a few people who turned 40 over the summer and they're like, we just want to wait because everyone's out of town. So anyway, okay. October. So any other comments, any other like things that you guys have seen successful for September?
I know that was quite the list.
Yeah.
I have a business where we do a little bit of everything. I don't do a lot of one thing. It's like we'll end up having like 2 in this category and 2 in that category and 1 in this category. But I think that if you just really just start to think about it and reach out to people about the events, then that's how you are able to create success. You're not going to do, 20 homecomings without losing your mind. So, but you are going to be able to do, a combination of 20 events in a month.
Yeah. Well, so that's a good point. So like as we go month by month, identify like from September or October or November, like what are the events you can actually think of within your region that you're like, okay, I know somebody there, I know about this event, like I can get some kind of contact with these people about this event. I'm going to plan to reach out. I'm not going to go like researching pumpkin patches and go market to all these people. Like I'm not that confident that that's a good bet for, how I want to spend my time. But back to school, like maybe a business partner have kids. So like we are definitely going to be like pestering our kids for all of the early like events that they have for fundraising, you know?
Yeah. And Katie mentioned in the chat that October is a lot of weddings for her. And we do find that too. We also have a lot of October weddings, like end of September through beginning of November, with a good peak in October. So we do have a lot of wedding showers this time of year because people tend to have those like 4 to 6 weeks before the wedding as well. So, okay. But
should have thought of that.
Katie, do you do a lot of actual wedding decor? Because I don't tend to do any wedding decor. I tend to do more shower, engagement party, sometimes bachelorette party decor as well.
I'm a lot more wedding showers and stuff, but I recently had a meeting with a event planner who's like she just wants a contact with every single industry. So I'm actually on her like intake form for weddings. So I do have one coming up in September. I don't love the design, but it's not my wedding. So
Yeah, exactly. I know. Gotta love that, right?
yeah. But hey, if it's gonna look cute and if they can dazzle it up and add some floral in there, I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be gorgeous. Like I could just only count, I could probably count on two hands the number of weddings that I've actually done balloons for at a wedding. But I
Yeah, I
probably
think
have.
this will be like my third. So yeah, it's not a huge industry, but it seems like it's October is like a crazy, like my girl
Mhm.
that I was talking to was like, I'm so busy in October, so I'll let you know if there's anything coming up. But yeah, it's crazy.
Okay, yeah, that's fantastic. So
Good.
the other thing that we have is we have a lot of senior nights for the sports in the fall, and that's something if like for does everyone else have senior nights for the students? So what those are is we do a ton of grad parties. So I'm really in touch with those parents, and it's also a good way for me to make contact with new graduates to get there. But like the tennis team, the volleyball team, the football team, soccer, they all have fall seasons, and they usually at the school have one night where they recognize the seniors. And so again, we'll do like columns for that, sometimes a walkthrough art, sometimes a photo op, but we do something again, just like in a variety of all of the different sports. So, and there's so many high schools around us, so that ends up being good too. Um, in October, that's a really big time for us for fun fairs and for carnival setups. Um, PTA fundraisers really push with the schools, both for back to school and with the PTA fun fairs, latex free designs. Like pull out your microfoils, pull out your organic foil, let them know that you're able to do something that is going to be latex free. Not all of our schools are latex free, but I would say that probably half of our schools are latex free. For galas, those are going on now, but I'm going to be honest, like our October galas, most of them are already booked. So they're like, they've been thinking about this for a couple of months sometimes, but for many of them, the first time that we booked it, we're booking it 4 to 6 weeks out. But then once you're with them and you're doing things regularly, then they tend to start to talk to you about it really early on in the planning. So I don't think that it's too late to hop in on the gala business, but it's definitely something that ends up being repeat business for us every single year, no matter who switches over. So that's really nice to have too, because a lot of times for this galas, we do find that we have some bigger budgets because they are told that they should put 10% of their budget or 10% of what they raise towards decor. And we have some communities that are pretty wealthy around us. So, and they'll raise, like $200,000. So they're willing to spend, $10,000 on decor for their gala. So for the balloons, and then they'll do 10,000 on centerpieces for like floral. They usually don't do balloon centerpieces with me. October is a really good time of year for annual meetings. We do these in both October and normally in January and February. Sometimes a few in December, and also like physicians dinners for the hospitals, those types of things. We get really good annual business from those people too. And what I would say on all this is like, if you get one like this year, then what you do is you keep that one and then you find somebody else the next year. That's what I do with my marketing. Like your business just, if you keep on doing that, then your business is going to grow exponentially every single year. So again, the fundraisers kind of goes in with the galas. Bosses Day, I've done things for some of my regular corporate clients for Bosses Day. I don't know if it's really big for a lot of people. Have you guys done anything for that?
No,
No. Yeah. It's again, it's not a huge thing, but
too small, right?
yeah, I mean, we do it. It's like, so like back to school and things like Bosses Day, I'll just usually post something that I did from a year before. And then we might get like 7 or 8 small orders. Like that's for us we did a back to school promo where we showed it. And we priced everything at about at least $100 so that we could deliver it. And we ended up having, you know, like 8 back to school balloon designs, which, yeah, it's not a ton, like none of them are big, but we decided that we were going to deliver them all on 2 days, depending on where the school districts are and when they start. And, you know, it's another $800. I think it was because some of them have 2 kids. So I think it ended up being like 1,100 plus tax, and just for, you know, doing like one quick little promo that I posted on Instagram as one post. So if you think about it that way, I feel like that's a pretty good return for what doing our design was and marking it up. In fact, we have 2 that need to go out today. And those weren't on our regular day, so they did pay additional delivery. We offered free delivery on that because I knew that I would be delivering to the whole community, and I thought it would be a good way to kind of push them. Trunk or treats, we do so many trunk or treats. It's crazy. Like my last 2 weeks of October, we do so many community events. We end up having 1 a day almost during the week, which is nice. I always am aiming to get more weekday business because we're a big private event company. So my weekends normally fill up, but we do so many trunk or treats. It's crazy.
So wait, what are you doing for the trunk or treats? Because the way that we do it here is the parents pull up to the parking lot, they open the trunk, they have to provide the candy and decorate the trunk. So sometimes they'll do a table and sometimes they'll do like stuff hanging, but it's up to the person whose car it is, and it's all within the parking lot. It's not like another space.
So we do them a lot for, like, we have one hospital that hires us for 3 trunk or treat events, and we do a walk-through arch for all of them to go into the area for that one. So we end up doing that arch, like the same thing at 3 different locations. It's like a Tuesday, a Thursday, and then the next week, Tuesday, just 3 of them all for one hospital. Again, a lot of just look at who's hosting it. Some of them end up being they want a big photo op at one of them because they're doing it, especially for the churches. Sometimes their budgets are a little bit lower when it's that. But what I find is that it's not necessarily, and I know we'll get into this more, for those, it sometimes is the private party who belongs to the church. When it's an event like a church or a school, that's going to be paying for it, and not the church or the school themselves, but like the bougie mom who wants this to be at her kid's school. So she's going to be doing it. I always say, befriend the med spa mom. Again, like the pumpkin patch, the harvest parties, I think it's just like when we do those, it's more that somebody is having something there, not that we're doing it for actually the pumpkin patch. Fall festivals, we have a lot of fall festivals. And again, we just do we have it annually for like 2 of our towns who do a pumpkin walk, and we get hired like 1 year. I always do an arch for the one, but when they had somebody else in charge of it 1 year, it was fun because it was around the town square, and I did a 8-foot ghost on this corner, and then I did an 8-foot Frankenstein on that corner, and then I did a 6-foot pumpkin on this corner. So I think, again, sometimes if you approach it with something that's a little bit more sculptural, then they might want to go into that. And then I've also done like garlands going up the tree, and just people are always wondering, where do you walk? Where do you check in? So like the check-in points on those big events are like a really nice place to have something too. And then again, just the fall bridal showers. So many bridal showers this time of year. I agree with Katie from earlier.
Yeah. So I'm gonna move on to the next slide, but I don't know if you saw in the workbook, I have like tons of notes already, and I'm already identifying like on my list, like what I'm gonna do, and I'll share with you after we go through November. But you can't do all these events. So make sure you zero in, and then, mark the ones that are going to really make you the money. Obviously, mark it to more, see what you get, right?
Well, once you get one, it's so easy to get more because then you're showing what you've already done. And also, once people see it in the community, it like just causes a snowball effect because then they want to have it at their event because they want their event to be better. I think that's what started to happen with the trunk or treats is, once you did it at one, then they were like, oh, well, we want to have that at ours because we want them to come to our event instead of their event. So, but they literally will have them every day of the week for 2 to 3 weeks. It's crazy. Okay, so once we get into November, we've moved out of senior night and we go into sports banquets. Sports banquets, it's easy stuff, but again, it's usually like a column and 20 bouquets for all the tables. And they will get that. And so it just ends up being something that's simple. And if you figure how many sports you have and that they're all having a banquet, they're all looking for decor for all of their banquets. Veterans Day, we do stuff for Veterans Day at the schools. And then we also do take a look at like who's hosting community luncheons for the veterans for that one. Thanksgiving and Friendsgivings, I have a couple regular clients who book me for this every single year for private parties for Thanksgiving and Friendsgiving. And again, it's not like a ton of business, but if you figure that I have 3 people who are doing an annual event with a garland at their house, or last year for one of them, I made like a tree and then we popped some of the leaves into it. But we do something different every single year for them. And it's just, again, just like really good repeat business that you're going to be hitting and that just really starts to add up for it. Black Friday, so Black Friday and Small Business Saturday kind of go together. I personally do better with Small Business Saturday than with Black Friday, but I know that's not the same experience that everybody has. And for these, I would just be pushing like branded, your vinyl, put it on there. They want to see their name. And again, it's like a competition for them where they're trying to get people in through their door. Because if they see something nice, especially if you have like a community with a lot of small businesses and they do a Small Business Saturday walk, if they have like the little garlands around it, then you could run a special that if you do a few of them, that they get a discounted delivery and you're going to set them all up on the same day because it just attracts more people into their business. Cyber Monday, I've never done anything for. Have you, Alexis? No, yeah, okay. And then we also start to get into in November, just again, this tends to go hand in hand with the annual meetings, but the end of the year awards and recognition ceremonies. And then also starting at the end of November and going into December, I end up not having a day off between Thanksgiving and like the 3rd week of December every year because we do so many holiday and office parties. There's like, I'm telling you, start going for that business in September for the end of November and December because there is a lot of money to be had there.
This gave me so many ideas. So are there any ideas, anything that you guys wrote down that you're like, okay, I got to go after that. Like, didn't think of that. Or like, what's your top 3 to 5 revenue potential opportunities that you marked down? Anybody want to share? I'll share what I wrote. Okay, so the parents' night out is competitive between the schools. Everyone wants their night to be the best. So like everybody's getting babysitters. People are decked out. They're doing it at some of the nicest hotels in the area. So obviously I want to go after all of those, but I made a short list of all of the events that I should be getting at all of these schools that we're connected with. There's so many events. So I think I'm just going to create a proposal for each of these schools. Like, hey, these are all the events that you're doing. If you book any, 5 out of these, like 10 that I picked, we'll give you like, some type of like discount for booking all of them. Right.
Mhm.
It's like planning it out in your PTA expenses right now. A 10K that's coming up that I want to run. So I'm like, okay, it'd just be kind of cool. Like you see it at your own event. I don't know. Like you're attending the event. I don't know. I'm usually not attending the event. Real estate client appreciation stuff. So like our real estate agent last year hired us for like a Santa photo. So like he did that for his clients. So inviting them, they can take a picture, they can use it for their cards or whatever. Right. So we could definitely replicate that, or like any just like entertaining events, like if they've done like nights at breweries or whatever, like things like that. Obviously bridal, and then for the holiday parties, I'm gonna go back to all the venues that we work with all year long, and I'm like, let me just go talk to those event planners and just be like, here's a little small gift. Make sure you think of us for the holidays, right? Because we do get a lot of referrals from them. So that's on my short list. That's kind of a lot, but very attainable because we already have connections into these avenues. The bridal, I think we are running Google Ads, and we do have one Google ad running for that, and we have gotten more like bridal shower and stuff lately. So we tend to get the bride in for the shower or whatever, but then usually they resurface around the first time they have a baby. So, and maybe it's not as steady, but then they can refer us for birthdays and stuff like that. But
yeah, that's a whole pipeline for us. It's like the bridal shower, baby shower, first birthday, christening around here. And honestly, it's like birthdays up to 5, and then they tend to drop off until it's something like 10, 15, 16, 18, 21. But we start to do more milestones with it, 13 sometimes. But yeah, that's a whole pipeline. And it seems like everybody is always, they have all of their friends getting married at the same time, all of their friends having babies at the same time. People tend to like just befriend people who are at the same stage of life. So that's a great pipeline for us. Yeah. And it's like, for me, I put the most focus on the annual meetings and corporate parties in terms of what I'm reaching out to. And I reach out to my existing corporate customers. Should we wait till we get to the next stage before I talk about that? But I do annual meetings, I do the trunk or treats, and I do the Christmas parties, because the other stuff we just tend to get a little bit. Okay, so who is your buyer?
So we broke this out into a few different sections. So like if you identified anything that you're like, I want to go after those things, but I'm not sure, like, how do I find these people to get my way in? This is kind of the ideas that we're talking through. So go ahead, Alyssa.
Yeah, and honestly, like, all this information is here. It's just, you just want to keep this page and then maybe make a list of who these people are going to be in your community. But I find that just getting to know the PTA and PTO leaders, don't be afraid to ask, who should I contact? Like, I think that so much of our business we get from just asking people, like, who should I contact for this? Who's in charge of this? Even not necessarily calling the school for it, but asking the other parents that you know in your community, who's doing this? Does your kid, oh, I saw that your kid is in volleyball this year. Do you know when they have their senior night? I know that she's a junior. Who would be, are the junior parents putting it on, or are the senior parents putting it on? Because a lot of times the junior parents do it, so that way the senior parents don't have to. They like do the main thing for it, and then the seniors just take care of getting stuff for their kids. So it's just knowing just like who that contact is going to be. And I find that out just by talking everybody's ear off. There's no
Yeah, you just said all that so naturally. I'm sure like you're just doing that everywhere you go.
It's so unnatural. I get so stressed about it, but it's just like such a habit to be able to do it. Like I was helping somebody else with an event yesterday. I was subcontracted for our marquee numbers, and I had them booked for New Year's. We were doing a grand opening for a casino, and it was for Stacy. You know, she's in here, so I'll talk about it. So it was for Hollywood Casino for Stacy, and I was did some of her garlands, and then we got the inserts with marquee letters and put them all up. And I ended up running across the venue manager while I was there, and he's like, I'm in charge of the events. And I was like, are you in charge of New Year's? And he said, I am. And I was like, oh my goodness, have you ever done huge balloon drops? If not, you need to talk to Stacy about getting those up. It's time to book now. And he was like, we never have. Yeah, now, because they moved from a boat to a full casino. So it was just like, we were able to, and now she has a meeting with him for next week for it, just by not being afraid. And I honestly want to swallow my tongue, even just like here, whenever I'm talking. Luckily for me, when I get nervous or anxious, I talk too much. So
guess it's better than shutting down. I do the same thing.
So I do just constantly talk to people, but it's more, I had to just train myself to do it. Like, I've never really been comfortable with it, but you have to push yourself to just do it, because otherwise, why are you there? But you want to know your PTO leaders. Those change all the time, but it's always a small group of parents who are involved every single year from like K through 8. It's the same 10 parents, just whoever the president is the one who's going to drop off. Because it usually tends to be an elder parent, like not an older parent, but one of the elder students that's there. For the school administrators, I find more that it ends up being like the counselors and the activities directors, if they have that. So a lot of times they'll put the people who are doing counseling in charge of those events. The booster club leaders are amazing for the sports teams and for marching band. Marching band is a really good one. So is theater.
So just to note, like, for the PTA and stuff, there are parents who donate a lot that also have influence. So like, if you're, people who donate, have them say, oh, we need this event to look good or whatever, right? Because the PTA is really listening to those parents. So like, even in our school, like, I don't think, so the principal has said like, oh, we want our decor to look the best. Like, we love having South Bay Pop here because like, we want our stuff to look better than all the other schools, like kind of competitive, right?
Yeah.
I don't think at the end of the day, she's deciding how much PTA spending on what. She just like influences a little bit, right? She's like, you guys figure it out. I've got other things on my plate. So it is the PTA, but they're looking to the parents who donate a lot to be like, oh, you want this at those events? Okay, well, does that mean we're going to get more funds from you? Like, okay, we'll do whatever you want, right?
Yeah, and that's why in the budget, I did all cap private donations, because especially for the schools. So if you're doing a dance, then that does come from a budget, and they figure out the cost of the ticket based into it by what they're going to spend on the decor. But for things such as galas, a lot of times somebody will donate the backdrop, or else a parent is going to say, we want to have this. So again, it's the bougie parents who are spending more money, because the PTA might be like, we have, $150 for this, but then a parent comes in and they're like, well, but we want this. And they end up paying for it out of their pocket because they want it to be there for their kid. So that's more, the motivated by photo ops for parents, I'm going to say, is our biggest part of it right there. It's all parent driven for us. Sometimes businesses. Okay, so for the corporate and workplace, definitely HR managers. A lot of companies have event planners. So knowing who their events person is, especially for larger companies, because there is one dedicated person. The executive assistants do work with them. Marketing managers are great to know. That is, if you get on the list, we do a lot of grand openings. And one of the reasons why is because there are a couple of groups around here for where it's just like restaurant groups, and they all have the same marketing managers. And so they end up referring us for all of the ones who open up in the area. So then you don't even need to go out and contact, because they'll contact us, and you always have to get the first ones by going out and making that connection. And it's harder to do. But once you get your foot in the door, then they're like, hey, we saw that you did this Taco Pro, and we have another Taco Pro opening up, and you're on the list for who to call, because they use the same vendors for everything. The DEI committees. So unfortunately around me, we've had a lot of those events that got canceled this year. Like our Women's History got canceled, our Black History Month got canceled. So, and I think that people are renaming this because diversity and inclusion is now being frowned upon, unfortunately, which is a real shame, because especially for our university clients, they have told us how it's such a morale booster for the students, but some of them are just naming it something else instead of completely getting rid of it. They're still trying to find it, but they just don't want to get funding taken away from them. And it's, like a contentious time for that. So for the corporate budgets, you're going to find that in Q4, I think this is one of the reasons that they tend to do bigger holiday parties or go bigger at their annual event. If they don't spend the same amount of money that they spent the year before, then it ends up getting cut from the budget, because then they think that they could do it from less. So I think that's why a lot of the annual meetings fall then too, but it's a good time of year for corporate events. And yeah, you want to be showing things to them that are branded, that are different, that are unique. What makes you stand apart as an artist? Like, find that one thing that you do really, really well and put it out there. Like, I included this photo here because this is someone who we do an annual gala for, and they always just give us a theme, and they're like, we want something that nobody has ever seen before, which is fun for me because I get to create something that they haven't ever seen before. Like last year, it was a rock and roll theme. So we went just like huge stars or it was a rock star theme. So we did the huge stars, we put the vinyl stickers on it. We, did all the chains and it was huge. Like that was a 12 feet up to the top star. So it was fun.
Yeah, I love it. Love those chains.
And again, that's an annual event for us. Annual. This next one, annual event. This is a gala that we do every single year in October, and they end up having a different theme every single year. So we've already done the planning for it already, but you're working with the chairs. I find the best way to get in with galas is from my private clients. Just talk to them when you're doing their other events and find out like, are you on any boards? Do you belong to Tri Kappa? Because a lot of them are volunteering in their community and then they're going to just contact you for that. So one of the things that I do also for some of my bigger corporate clients, because we do watch our donations, but if someone is a spender with us, like we have some private clients that'll, spend several $1,000s a year and we'll let them do 5% back towards whatever their cause is. And sometimes it ends up being that we'll do a $250 donation for their golf outing, but I let them choose just one thing a year and that's what we're going to donate to them for instead of just doing random donations for everyone who walks in through the door. Because then, we're still doing things for the community, but it's for the causes that our customers really believe in and they like that we're giving back to their events. So you could do that too with their galas, where if it's a corporate customer and if they're on the board and you're like, okay, well, I could give you like a $250 credit because you spent this much money with us last year. This is what we're going to get for that. Do you know what the rest of the budget is? Because I'd be happy to take it off of it. And now that they're getting like that $250 discount on it, they're more likely to work with you. You can always just increase the price if you need to as well. But it's just a really good way to get in with those people. So for those, the budgets are definitely private people who are giving the most money. You're going to find that it's like the bigger spenders in your community are the ones who are donating to their galas. It's just frustrating when they're like, oh, guess what? I only have $500 to spend because I spent $2,000 on my wine donation. It's like, oh, I mean, did they donate it? That's not my problem. So just expect the donations, but find a way to do it fairly. Small business and retail, a lot of store owners. Again, Small Business Saturday, marketing coordinators, like the grand opening that we did this morning was planned by a marketing manager who is within a group that we work with for all of that company's grand openings, not just necessarily the small business owner. Franchise owners, and they do have a set budget a lot of times, but sometimes they'll spend a little bit more if you show them something that's cool. So, and they're just looking to get buzz. So one of the things that I do, especially for grand openings is, and I forgot to do that so far today, but it's only noon, is I tend to put it in our stories and I post it on my regular page. I put it on like the community page and I, just show it everywhere. And that's one of the reasons that they tend to use us is because they like the fact that we're also talking about them and tagging them and getting some buzz out there for their event as well, instead of just doing the balloons, because then you're building more of that partnership to help create success for them instead of just providing a sale for them.
Totally. Yeah, there's a new Pilates studio opening up like really close to me. And so I signed up for like an early access membership. They're opening end of October, I believe.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, like, you know, I signed up, like, cool, really excited. Just want to let you know, my business is South Bay Pop. I'd love to do any, you know, early events, the grand opening, what have you. And
Mhm.
they were like, oh, okay. And so then I started posting stuff and saying, hey, I just signed up for this, go check it out. And they were like, oh my gosh, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so
It's
much.
so
It's like,
think of us, right? Same thing.
yeah, hold on. Sorry, I got another call and that turned off my camera and now I'm at the place where I can never figure out how to turn it back on. There we go. Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Um,
And private clients.
yeah, so again,
This
like
is network. This is people who find you on social too. Go ahead.
exactly, just always, and again, that's that repeat and referral business. Just those are going to be, the whole pipeline where you're doing the gender reveal, you're doing the baby shower, you're doing the first birthday, you're doing the christening. And now you're also getting introduced to the other people that are at the parties as well. And again, I know that I've talked about this before because I hate strikes. It's so easy as something to be able to have somebody else do, but it's also a really great way to build connection with your client. So I do find myself for my good customers where I still do a lot of strikes, especially for corporate, because I'm getting in front of them again when they're super happy. Yeah, and budgets are all over the place for that. But again, people give them a couple options, not just especially if they're sending you something, be like, if they give you a budget, I've just be like, this is your option one and this is your option two. So that way they could be looking at it. We've been doing that in the collab where it's nice to have the same thing that's built out at a few different price points. So that way, even if they tell you that they want to spend 500, you could show them like, this is what it is for 500 and this is what you get for 750. And sometimes they're like, oh, well, I can't quite spend 750, but what do I get for 600? And then you're able to just like, oh, well, I could make these tweaks to it. And it's a good way to be able to increase your sale especially for private. Corporate, they more have a budget in mind.
Yeah.
So, Parks and Rec, we do a lot with our parks departments. Get to know your parks departments. So, our treasurer for some of them is who it ends up being. And then for others, if they have a community center or a rec center, it ends up there's somebody who's in the community center who plans all of the events for the community. So that's who you want to get to in front of that. Chamber of Commerce, I have not been good about going to my Chamber of Commerce meetings. I just get so busy. It's like, what the heck? I can't. So, but those end up being good. But even when I can't go, we still, and I do have a salesperson, but one of her tasks is we belong to a couple chambers. And even if you can't make the meeting, they still send out for the month, every single event that's going on because they want chamber members to go to the events. And so at least read the email and contact those people and make sure that they're going to be, that they know that if they want balloons for their grand opening, if they want balloons for their community event, for their customer appreciation, for their holiday party, this is how you find who's having the events because they're always promoting it to people in their chamber, especially if it's something for the community. And ribbon cuttings as well.
In business, sometimes you just go to the person who's in your face the most. They're just showing up. So even if you're sorry to say this, but even if your competitors not even half as good as you, they might earn the business just so they're showing up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so obviously you can't do all of what we discussed. So you really need to be strategic in how you place your bets. How are you actually going to execute a few of these ideas? Because if you say, oh, I'm going to try to do all these things, you're going to get to it and you're going to be like, I don't want to do any of it. it's so much work. I'll put it off and put it off. And then you're going to miss out completely. Right? That's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's the truth.
Yeah.
If you had to narrow it down, who are the three people types and the events that you're going after, and just stay focused on how you market that. And we'll talk about that next, but be very intentional, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, so where are you gonna find these people? Go ahead. You want to do it, Alyssa?
Okay, so this is great. You could do all of those things. Just screenshot it, keep it on your printed version. But what I'm going to talk about is specifically what we do. Beginning of the month, we get our newsletter from our chamber and we email, call, or get in front of every single person who is having an event and ask them if they need something for their event. That ends up booking a few a month. The next thing that we do is we look back on what we did the year before, 6 weeks out, and we contact all of those people for their event, sometimes 8 weeks, and just say, are you having this event again? Are you looking for something? How could we help you? Contacting those previous customers. I also ask them if they know of any other events that are going on in other departments, and would they be able to connect me with that person? They love to connect you with other department people, especially if they really, really like your work. And sometimes you could ask for an introduction that could be in the form of an email or else in the form of a phone call, or sometimes a personal introduction, like when you're dropping off something else at their office or for their event. You say, hey, I know that you mentioned that Raven, your admissions director, does balloons every year, and we've never done balloons for admissions. And they're like, oh my goodness, let me go grab Raven. I say that because that happened to us. That's how we just got we're planning our admissions event for one of the universities. And it was someone who we never worked with, who did work with someone else. We were able to get that business this year by asking for that personal connection and introduction from somebody else. And then just, again, go after the business that you know is going to be there by contacting the person and asking them for a referral for somebody else, and then start to do all of your in-person ones. Like, you know that these events are coming up, so they are going to be having something that is a warm lead. If it's not somebody that you know, but you know someone who knows them, then ask for an introduction. If you see that their business is starting to open, but you've never met them before and they're not in your chamber, then pop in and introduce yourself at the door. I did that today when I dropped off for the grand opening. There's another building who's going up next door, and there were people milling around out front. And so I walked over, asked what was opening, talked to them about it, and sent them my digital business card because I saw them looking at the columns that I was walking in with that had, and they were like, oh, those have their name on it. And they said that out loud. So I was like, oh yeah, if you want something like that, when are you planning to open? Found out all of the information. Partnership referrals, those are huge. We do a lot of business to business. But it's just really looking for it. And then again, getting in front of people on Instagram, on Facebook, looking through what you did, hosting the events, tagging the venues. I think that's so important, not just because the venue manager is happy that they're getting tagged in it, but also when people look at their photos, they look at their tagged photos, and if they see something that they like, then they're going to contact you for that work instead of contacting somebody else. Like if another balloon decorator is showing that they decorated once, and if you have them tagged 10 times, then they're going to contact you instead of contacting the other person, especially if you did something that's cool or different. Just don't post the ones that you didn't like. So don't tag them in those. But yeah, I mean, it's just getting in front of people, talk to people, even when you don't want to.
Yeah.
So the what are you selling? It's definitely have your best sellers ready, have them ready to go. Customization, people love anything that is customized. I love showing the new backdrops because especially if it's something that's trending, but they might be seen on Instagram, but other people haven't really done it in the area. They love to be the first person to do something. I find, I've mentioned this before, but things tend to trend in like 3-year cycles where it goes up and then it peaks and then it comes down and then you barely even do it anymore. Like it was that way with candy carts and, the peacock chairs. Like you could definitely see how it starts to trend in, it peaks and then it trends out. And now people are doing more things like this fan chair instead of the peacock chair anymore because they don't want to do the thing that everybody else did. Creating those flyers. I also like to have a digital flyer and QR codes to your digital storefront, like put that on your business card. So that way they could just go straight to your storefront. You could take them into it, show them how easy it is to use. If they want something, and let them know that they could just, click on this button. If they have any questions, they can't figure it out, and you're happy to talk them through it. I know we're looking to be hands off, but also people like to know that if they can't figure something out, you're going to help them.
That's why we have collaboration, but we want to
Yeah.
sometimes people just don't even know what looks good and you're the expert. They want your opinion, not their friend's opinion, you know?
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly. Or that way they don't feel overwhelmed because they're like, oh, well, if I have a question, then I could contact you.
Totally.
Okay. Instagram Reels and Stories. I find, so we don't post all of our work on our page, but we do post the majority of our work in our stories, just because that way people could see things at all different budgets. Reels are really good at finding new customers, but I'm going to be honest, I find that Reels tend to find me other balloon artists, whereas my stories and my carousels tend to find me other customers. So I like to actually do a mix of both, just because I could tell who's going to be commenting on it. And we book a lot of business from Instagram and Facebook leads. I know not everybody does. I know people who have, like 10,000, 20,000 followers, and they're all balloon artists and I don't get any business booked from Instagram. I have like 5,000 followers total across my platforms, and we book 3 to 5 a week from Instagram and Meta. So we do a lot that way. That's a really good, and those are new customers. Those aren't like our regular customers who are reaching out to us because they know how to get in touch with us. These are people who are like, oh, hey, I saw this. How much is this beautiful, I don't know. It's a beautiful day. I had someone ask about for like a wedding shower. And I'm like, yeah, we could do that. Whatever. Sounds good. We could do a spooky Halloween for you. TikTok, I'm not great at.
One of my girlfriends is a plastic surgeon and she grew her Instagram following so fast. And so our businesses are very visual. People want to see something. Same with plastic surgery. They want to see the transformation, right?
Yeah.
She was like, I stagnated around 10,000 followers and I am growing so fast on TikTok. So I'm like, shoot, I feel like I'm missing the boat there. I was thinking, oh, TikTok's going to get banned. Like, why am I investing in this platform? Right? Like, we just
I didn't either. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think don't sleep on TikTok,
Yeah, I think it's a really good place. I think I'm going to start doing some lives actually on TikTok because some other people that I've talked to, they've been recommending that. Your Google business profile is huge.
That's a must.
So one of the other things that's not on here, but I'm going to add to that is start to do things on Bing, because Meta and AI. So the Meta AI, which is if people are searching for things on Instagram and Facebook, that's not pulling from Google anymore. They started a relationship with Bing. So you need to go that route instead of going to Google for it. Email marketing.
Never think of Bing, like never.
Never, but that's where they're getting everything. And when I asked ChatGPT, how could I increase my visibility? They were like, you need to use Bing. They're using Bing. And it's and that's more recent. But they did also watch your keywords that you use, because anything that's Instagram and Facebook is now searchable onto Google when they do a Google search. So it will pull up your Facebook profiles as well. It also pulls up a ton of Pinterest. I don't have a lot of Pinterest, but like Pinterest is very Google result friendly. For your Google business profile, if you don't have an address, get a PO box somewhere, especially for the maps. You want to register your address both with Google Maps and with Apple Maps. Otherwise, you're not going to show up on the searches for near me for your profile, because if people's looking for balloons, one of the things that they do is balloons near me. And that also ends up being some of the top search terms for it, or automatically goes and geolocates towards them.
Know if that's totally accurate, because we have zip codes identified and we have that radius. We don't have a physical location. And a lot of people find us through Google, even when we're not running ads.
Well, we don't run ads, but it is because of our address. And again, they're changing the way that they're doing some of this right now. So you want to be sure that you're, because they're always adjusting like how they find you. And right now they're really looking for the near me's. One of the things that I find is also have like list towns and the region that you service and your hashtags, because then if people put down, like Crown Point balloons, then we're going to come up a lot of times, because like for us, whenever I just do a search with our Wi-Fi, it ends up putting us into Illinois. So I have Illinois businesses that register as the ones that are near me. So I specifically have to put in the town. Because otherwise, like if I'm putting in Menards, it ends up being like a Menards that's 50 miles away from me or 30 miles away from me that ends up coming up all the time. And it's the same with all of those businesses, because just our network, since we're near the border, ends up being connected to like the Illinois towers. So I don't get the Indiana businesses, I get Illinois businesses. So I always search with the town. So you want to have that town listed. Email marketing, don't sleep on it. I know that you've talked about Kit before on here, local Facebook groups, those moms groups, and go in, tag yourself, respond to them. You're going to find the same question every single week. Who does balloon garlands? Who makes a balloon arch for a baby shower? Just look for it. Yeah. Again, reaching out to past clients, nurturing those relationships is huge. Like repeat referral, Google ads, walk-ins, vendor markets. I haven't had much success with vendor markets. I did them more in the beginning of my business. And I think that it's nice, like if you're going to do something like that, then make sure that you are choosing one that is highly attended, and that's highly attended in like a higher income area. And I would do things such as bridal shows, but you want to make something that's a little bit better. A lot of times they have a high cost of entrance. So, but you could sometimes, since we have such a visual business, again, you could sometimes trade your booth for doing other decor in the room, and then you don't end up having to pay for it. So if it ends up being on something that's a historically slow weekend for you, then that's a good way to get in front of people. And then again, use your lead magnets. So just to be able to get them, so that way you could get their email, so that then you could email market to them.
Yeah.
This one's actually a wedding, the skeleton one. Isn't that hilarious? That was a Halloween wedding that we did. Yeah. It was a Till Death Do Us Part, and they had skeletons, black and red balloons, and everywhere.
That's funny.
Crazy.
If you guys didn't attend the lead magnet one with Amelia Adkins,
that was a really good
workshop, check that one out. Okay, we had to wrap up, because let's whip through this last part so we can leave some time for questions.
Yeah.
But basically your assets are like anything digital that you're going to share somewhere. So like to market all these things, you actually need to pull together these things. And I know we tend to, I mean, a lot of us, especially me, I will do this ad hoc. Like I have an idea, let me go execute it, and I just kind of chip away at the problem. But if you actually just pull together all of the assets and think through like, what are the things I need? You should already have like your logos and stuff, and then your landing pages. But sometimes you need to create like a new lead magnet or new email campaigns. Like pull all those things together and strategically put it out into the universe, like with like a timing of it, rather than just ad hoc, because your follow-up and all of that, you have to get in front of the customer like 9 times or something before it clicks. So if you're doing the same type of theme across a bunch of avenues, you're going to have like better luck than just like ad hoc doing it. So putting all your assets together and packaging it and planning it is the smarter way to go. It's gonna be more effective. Do you have anything to say about this?
No, just show your most successful looks and post things from last year, this time of year. Sometimes if it's at the end of the year, I might just post it in my stories, and then we post it on our regular page the next year, and we post it early. Because if you're just showing your work when it's going out, like if you're showing your homecoming work on homecoming weekend, then who's going to book you for homecoming? Because It's over. It's too late. So what I do is I tend to show it in the stories then, and then I post it the next year. So that way, that's when they're going to be seeing it. And again, post it like 6 weeks before you want it to book. And then maybe just keep on showing some things that are in your stories, because I found that some of our customers, they don't necessarily see the things that are, just because of the way that the algorithm looks, they're not seeing everybody that they follow, because it shows 3 posts in an ad, 3 posts in an ad, 3 posts in an ad. And unless if they are interacting with you, it doesn't show up on their timeline or like whatever they call it for Instagram either. But they do go through all of the stories for everybody that they're showing. So don't just post it onto your timeline, but also share everything into your stories as well for that. And again, yeah,
Yeah,
just
'cause, like, it really is
this.
3 and ad. But then I'm like, wait a minute, like this was like ad. Like what happened here?
Mhm.
What happened? My algorithm's messed up. I'm getting too much. It's all ads in my feed.
It's just because they're trying to, they need to monetize everything. You know, we're the product because it's free.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
and again, this is just something to keep, like your lead magnets, create your lead magnets for things. Tons of great ideas for here.
Yeah, literally everything we've talked about today has been outbound and targeting. This
Mhm.
is like trying to attract people through different ways
Inbound.
so they
Mhm.
find you, right? These
Yeah.
are just some easy things. Like I love a inspiration guide, a lookbook. Like I love that kind of thing. Like I'll give you my email to see, just to see, right? I want to see what it looks like. What's in there, right? Or like checklist. People like, so we did this checklist. We had a lot of people who downloaded that, and then a few complaints. Why wasn't I in the guide? I'm like, great, thanks for letting me know. Um, so that's kind of fun. And then and like it's a lot of people who were vendors to the Ruler King, right? And then it's like then they're more aware about what you do. Obviously, like we're the only balloon business we listed in there. We list other event related stuff, but not people who do balloons, right? That's our prerogative. Um, quizzes, people like quizzes. Like
Mhm.
what style should you do, or like that kind of thing. You can make some easy fun like gamified apps in an app called Claude AI. So that's kind of fun. Seasonal things like the pastel Halloween stuff, the boo related, like you named several boo things here while we're on the call, like
Mhm.
the baby shower one, the wedding one, like you named things that were just along that theme. Like I wouldn't have thought of those. That's kind of fun to just like have you tell me, right?
Yeah, and there's always like fall in love with your business types events that are going on in the local community. Just fall in love with just people using a play on words. And you could, this is a good thing to like ask ChatGPT, like come up with 5 punny, fall theme events for it. And some of these content things I write up in there. I love the idea of the Pinterest board series. That's really nice to do because again, Pinterest is getting good Google results. Make sure that if you put it on Pinterest, make sure that you watermark it because those do get shared to other places that don't necessarily link back to yours. So you want them to know your company. That's actually why I'm bad with Pinterest because I have to go back and put the watermark on. I never, so it just always gets pushed off. Hey, it's us. Okay. Shannon, it's you. I like.
There you are. Okay. Any questions about anything we talked about? Getting in contact with the right people, creating a lead magnet, what's gonna make you more money? Any of those things. I know this has been a long call. Hopefully you wrote down some notes on your guide. Creating
Dominique said she
sets.
hadn't thought about something. What hadn't you thought about, Dominique? I didn't see when that came up.
Oh, the last thing I forgot about this page, the timeline. So each event that you're targeting and the people that you're targeting to, add a date to when you're going to reach out to them and like how far in advance. So put it literally as a calendar reminder. I'm trying to get in front of the PTA. When's their next meeting? I'm going to reach out to these people this amount of time before the meeting, they're gonna have this proposal from the meeting, and then like after the meeting, you know who to follow up with, right? So just like kind of give yourself like these little reminders, I gotta get this out, right? Just already schedule it on your calendar. If you don't have any questions, I'll just reiterate that we are kicking off the Design Studio Challenge. And then for attending today, you will get one raffle ticket into September's raffle already. So make sure you join that. And I'm gonna just stop the recording there.